All right, perfect. Sorry about that. Yes, so as we were saying in the previous class, so she was correct to a certain extent, but the most preferred way, the most preferred option to use in that regard would be the event method. Because having an attention, for example, you would note it as an event. Timberlake says also time sampling. So it's important to understand that there are different methods that one can use when it comes to different types of things that you're busy tracking. It's always important to find the one that you think is the most necessary at that time. Would it be an event? Would it be the time sampling, which is also very good and structured system of doing it? Thank you, Timberlake. Or would you maybe use a checklist or a narrative even that would be based on your own on what you think would be best. All right. Thank you, Leanne. You can continue.
Thank you. Sorry, I was kicked out there for a second. You
No
can just go to
problem.
the next slide for me, please. Okay, so this one I'll leave to you. It is just a classroom activity. So I don't know if you want to do it individually and just ask them or just let them do it and send it to us.
Let's do it quickly because I want to see if we've been listening in class. All right, so let's quickly see. Who have I not asked? I think I've already gone down the list, but let's do it again. Let me start again from the top. Lena Simpson. Lena
I
Simpson.
would
Hello.
say it's the event method.
For which one? For number one, a child frequently hitting others.
Yes,
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Let's see if you can do the second one as well.
tracking how long a child stays at each activity. Uh,
This is a bit of a tricky one.
that can be the time sample.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much. You got it spot on. Thank you so much. Let's see somebody else that I haven't asked yet. Let me go down my list here. I've still got, I think Dion Bierstabur, are you with us? All right, let's see. Shanae. Shanae, are you with us? Oh, Shanae is the one with the audio problem, but I think I might hear you now, Shanae. I can hear something in the background, but I can't hear your voice. No, I'm still struggling to hear Shanae, unfortunately. Let's go to the next one, Timberlake. Let's get this one sorted so we move on to the next slide. Timberlake.
Yes.
Hello. Number three.
Hello, are
R-
you?
Good, good, thank you. Recording a child's first day in detail. What method would you use?
Ooh, that's a tricky one, but I think I'll use a time sampling one.
Okay, excellent. You could use that one as well, yes. You could actually also use another one as well, apart from the time sampling. Which one do you think that would be?
I'm not sure.
All right, so time sample is an excellent example that you can use, but you could also use the narrative method as well. And then while I have you on, number four, checking a 4-year-old's milestones, which method would you use there?
Oh, I'm not sure, but the one that
I just write numbers instead of saying everything that happened that day. I mean, instead of writing down the whole event, where I can just use like maybe SIPO, and then I'll in interacting with the other kids and sharing and stuff, I could just put a number instead of writing the whole event of what happened that day.
All right. So that one could work. But also you could use the milestone method, which is when you just have to put it in
Okay.
writing when the child reaches a milestone. And another one that you can use
Okay.
hand in hand with that one would also be the event method, event stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Kimberly-Claire.
Thank
Leanne,
you.
you can continue, Leanne.
All right, you can just go to the next slide as well. So on this slide, we've got our answers. So it is event sampling, time sampling, narrative records. So remember, your narrative records is like you are writing a story. So for that child being on the first day, I'll recommend writing just a small story to say he experienced a rough day, you cried a lot. Maybe even he was one of those lucky kids that enjoyed it, that was happy. And then the last one will be a checklist. But well done on everyone that answered. You can just go to the next slide first, please, Petra. Okay. Observation tools needed: a notebook, an observation sheet, a prepared template, a checklist, pens and highlighters, cameras to take maybe photos or videos. But with that, we need consent because of the new POPI Act. We need, unfortunately, we do need consent on that. And then a child's profile, and then the parents' consent forms to say that you are allowed to use the child's personal information on your sheets. A professional practitioner stays organized and prepared. Always remember, a prepared practitioner is a calm practitioner. So you can just go to the next slide for us. Preparing to observe. Before observing, practitioners should understand the child's age, background, and development, knowing the purpose of the observation, choose the most suitable method, position yourself where the child can be seen but not disturbed, allow interaction unless, avoid interaction unless necessary for safety. The best way is just to sit there and just view the child. Let him or her be in their comfort zone. And then preparation ensure accurate, natural observant. Just go to the next slide, please. Okay. Objectively versus subjectively. So objective statements is based on facts and evidence, not influenced by a personal feeling or opinion. And then subjective statement is based on a personal opinion, feeling, and judgment. So, for example, objective statement will be, Anel cries for 3 minutes after her toy broke, where a subjective statement would be, Anel is too emotional. So being a teacher, it's not always, how can I put it? It's not always necessary to say that the child is emotional if you see that the child really loved that toy and that toy broke. And then the other example that I've got is Tabo used 2 hands to climb the ladder. That would be your objective statement. And then your subjective statement would be Tabo is clumsy. So the best way to use your records is by looking at it from an objective point of view. So, observation, do's and don'ts. Records only what you see and hear. Use exact words or actions. Stay neutral. Write immediately after observing. And then your don'ts. Don't assume. don't label a child. So don't say Lebu is naughty or Tabo is lazy. That is a no-go. And then generalizing, always saying he or she. He's always or she's always. Rather use the name and then edit your notes before. Let's say, for example, your principal comes, she wants your note, then you quickly edit your notes because you know you are writing it wrong. So that is also a no. If you just keep to what you know, and then you don't need to change it. And then you can just go to the next one for us, please, Pedro. Ethical and legal responsibilities. Practitioners must follow South African policies, maintaining strict confidentiality, no sharing of a child's information, respect a child's privacy, ensure consent forms for photos or videos, follow the Children's Act, Act 38 of 2005. So just to give you a few examples quickly on that, a child have the right to be safe, cared and loved and even protected. Parents or caregivers must look after children. No children may be abused, neglected, or harmed. Children will have the right to medical care when needed. I will also just share a short PDF on the Children's Act from 2005. And then the last one we are looking at is report concerns of abuse following by the center's protocols. It is mandatory to report any abuse if you see any abuse or neglect on a child that is in your classroom. And then you can just go to the next one for us, please. So culture, sensitivity, and observation. Children express behavior differently across cultures. Practitioners must avoid interruption behavior through personal bias, understanding cultural expectations of communication, eye contact, and discipline. Speak with the families to understand cultural norms. Ensure reporting remains respectful and culturally appropriate. Culture sensitivity prevent misinterpretation. You can just go to the next one for us, please, Pedro. Sample, observe, notes. Pedro, this is your slide.
All right. Thank you very much. So this is just an example basically that we have there. So the first one is an example of a narrative observation. For example, we've discussed earlier on, narrative observation basically means that you write it out in narrative form, the event that's occurring. So you would say, at 9:15, Musa sits in the puzzle area. He selects a 6-piece puzzle and he completes it in 2 minutes without assistance. So you write it out like a story. A time sample with Musa, for example, you would say, all right, at 10 o'clock, he was playing alone. At 10:05, he was talking to a peer. At 10:10, he was running in an outdoor area. And that is if you need a very accurate or detailed observation to be made. And then we have the event sample. And the event sample is when an event happens. For example, at 11:22, this child cried when another child took a book, and she calmed down after the teacher's intervention. And that is important because then you'd save that intervention or you'd save that record so that should such an event happen again, you'd be able to compare your notes and see whether it's a behavioral trend that is happening and also then work out ways to resolve it. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you, Pedro. And then On the next slide, it's also just to provide a few scenarios. So I would like to ask one or two of the students just to give us a one or two examples with the type of method they use to observe that child, if it's possible.
All right, let's go through. I'm forgetting now who I've called out. Simone. I don't think I've called out Simone before. Simone, are you with us? Okay, Simone isn't with us. Let me see who else. Timberlake, I think I've asked you a few times. Ferris Chamawinya. Ferris Chamawinya. All right, she's also unavailable. Okay, let's go back to the top of my list. Dion Beersebur.
Yes.
There we go. Leanne, can you repeat the question, please?
Sorry, yes. So I just want you to give one scenario, for example, what happened in your class, and then just the type of method that you used to observe that child.
Okay. Well, I would like visually watch the child. Maybe when it comes to doing reports and what the child is able to do in the time that they were with us. So maybe how many pieces of puzzles they can build, and if the child can actually um, yeah, take the pieces and put them where they should be, how they lift the puzzle, and then like a piece, and then put it in. Yeah, I can use that example, and then just narratively write it down. So I don't know if that will work.
Okay, Leanne, did you get that?
Yes, I did. That is a very good example. I've got an example that I want to say. So for example, I've got a child in my class that is biting. And just to track that before I can tell the parent that the child's been biting other learners or other students in the class, I would use the event sampling just to gather enough information to tell that person or the parent. For example, Lebu, apparently I'm picking on Lebu today, but Lebu bit Azizotile at 10:30 and at 11, let's say 11:20, Lebu bit Shandi. So just to have all of the times, specifically the times, to show the parents that it's not just a event that happened once, that it's a reoccurring event over a couple of days with a specific time.
Excellent, thank you. All right, thank you so much. I think this is the end of the class. And next session, we will then discuss assessment. This is quite a bit of a tricky one, a lot of new terms that you've had to go through and that we've had to learn. So we are going to put the recording of the classes in the WhatsApp groups. Please go through it again. It should be in your notes as well, very deeply in your notes. And there are also templates, observation templates that you would find in your notes as well, on the student portal. Thank you so much. And then I think let's leave it at that. And the next session, we will be discussing then assessment. Thank you so much, Leanne, as well, for conducting the class. And I will see everyone next week.
All right. Sorry, Pedro, before we go, just want to add, I will share tomorrow morning. I'll quickly share today's lesson so the students can just run over it and then just also add the milestones and then the Children's Act.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
All right.
Good
Thanks,
night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.